Welcome to the Inside Scoop with Mr. Carroll. I'm your host, David Carroll, around here also known as the Old Codger. I'm also the assistant principal here at Fairland High School. My guest today is our athletic director, Coach Jeff Gorby. Welcome, Coach, to the Inside Scoop. Glad to have you here. I'm going to just kind of start out and tell the folks a little bit about our background, about the relationship you and I have. You know, I've known you for 30 plus years. You were actually in my first class here 34 years ago. You and I spent oodles of time together. A lot of time we've coached together. We've traveled to Ohio State games. We've gone to other athletic events. You and I, you know, did a scrimmage game up in Gallipolis, and we hopped in the truck and drove down to Bristol, Tennessee, and liked to burn up, and then got there and froze that night. So anything, just kind of chime in here, anything you want to talk about.
You know, as I was sitting there thinking about that, probably some of my favorite memories. I mean, we coached football together, and having you in that first class that you had, and wow, what an experience that first year was. But I'm kind of taken back to, I remember coaching junior high basketball with you, and that's when we had Drew Clark and that, you know, Drew's coaching baseball for us now. It's just some great memories all along, and it's more how much fun we had doing it. You know, we've become great close friends over those years.
Well, we've had a lot of good times together.
Oh yeah.
I mean, just so much to say. But the thing is, we're not here just to reminisce.
Right.
But we're also here for you to give out some information. So my first question for you is, what do students and parents need to know for fall sports here at Fairland High School coming up?
You know, and this is one of the questions we get quite a bit. Our physicals only run a calendar school year. Not a calendar year, but a school calendar year. So August 1st to May 31st is when that physical ends, or runs. So every student will need a new physical going in as of August 1st. They can be dated right now. My daughters are actually going to go get a physical today. They see their pediatrician today, so they're going to get their physicals today. But it has to be dated after May 1st of 2024 to be current for the 24-25 school year. That's a question we get quite a bit. They have to have that before they can officially practice the first day. I get a lot of students in on the first day. Oh, I forgot it. I'm sorry, you can't practice. I have to have it in hand, or a coach has to have it in hand by the first day of practice, or they can't practice.
Okay. What else?
You know, as we start looking at that, you can find that physical on ohiohighschool.com or .org. I'm sorry, OHSAA.org. Also, Marshall University Medical Institute is offering a free physical on May 30th at 4:30 p.m. Go onto their website, log in, get you an appointment, and it's over by Marshall Football Stadium.
Okay. Well, what else do we have here that we need to know? Is there any, like, GPA requirements or anything like that we need to know about?
Yes. All incoming freshmen and the students who are already here have to have maintained at least a 1.7 GPA and no more than one F. So you can have one F as long as you have more than a 1.7, but you have two Fs, you're ineligible. Also, Ohio High School mandates that you're passing 5 core classes. Yeah. So you have to be passing your 5 credits in order to be eligible. That is a common misconception a lot of times, and it's based on the last 9 weeks that you attended. It's not a yearly average, it's the last 9 weeks. So all students would have to have more than a 1.7, no more than one F, and passing 5 classes during the 4th 9 weeks to be eligible for the fall next year.
So I hope that's pretty clear for you folks out there. All right, question number 2. What sports are we going to be offering this fall here at Fairland High School?
We're going to be offering a lot. We got football, head coach Michael Jackson. We've got boys and girls cross country. We have great coaches, and they kind of split the duties there in Dara Snyder and Phil Snyder. We also have boys soccer, which is Jason Wyatt. We have girls soccer. We are currently taking applications for girls soccer coach. Probably when this airs, we'll actually be in the interview process. And we also have volleyball with Miss Mary Haynes, and then Mr. Nathan Speed has boys and girls soccer. So we have a lot of things going on in the fall. It's a great time for our kids, and this is when we collectively have the most kids participating at one time.
What about cheerleading?
With cheerleading. Cheerleading is also, it's not necessarily governed under me. I do adopt the cheerleaders a little bit, give them their awards and everything. Miss Leap is actually over the cheerleaders, but we also offer cheerleading, and cheerleading tryouts will be currently starting this week, but after this airs, we'll already know the cheerleaders at that time.
Okay. All right. What is the first day of practice for these fall sports that we're talking about?
Football's a little bit different. Football gets started a little bit different because they have an acclimation period where the first day or so they're in helmets. Then the next day or so they're in helmets and shoulder pads. Then they have a day in full pads, and then they get to hit. So their first official day, I believe, is going to be July 27th. Will be the first day they can actually start considering. So football players, you'll have to have a physical by July 27th, or you can't participate. Everything else, first official start date will be August 1st. So everything else that we do, whether it's volleyball, it's soccer, it's golf, everything else, first official day is August 1st.
And for you guys playing football, if you're not here and don't have your amount of practice in, you can't hit on
You can't
first.
hit.
So
Right.
you got to make sure you do that. All right. Well, are athletes expected to practice over the summer? That's a big question, I think, that a lot of people want to know about.
And I get this question quite often. You know, Coach Buchanan does it a lot with girls basketball in the summertime. Coach Speed does a lot with boys basketball. Coach Jackson does a lot with football, and Mary Haynes, and so forth and so on. I get a lot of parents say, well, are these practices mandatory? They are not mandatory. But also keep in mind, neither is playing time. The only way that you can get better and hone your skills is by doing those skills. So if you take the entire summer off, you're not going to be able to hone those skills. You're not going to be able to get better at that sport. And kids that are there are going to pass you by. You know, one of the biggest things that I encourage or I talk to my coaches about, I don't care what grade they're in. I don't care whether they're a freshman, they're a sophomore, they're a junior, or they're a senior. I want the best kids on the field. Football, I want the best 11 on the offensive side of the ball. I want the best defensive side. The best 11 on the defensive side. Best 11 on special teams. I don't care what grade you're in. I want the best players out there. So we offer a lot of things during the summer. Summer basketball, summer football, 7-on-7s. We offer a weight room. Coach Ricky Morris does a great job in the weight room. You're getting better by being there. If you're not getting better, there's somebody else is working and you're not, so they're going to get better.
I know you and I were coaching football. We preached weight room,
Yes.
because you don't get strong necessarily during the season. You want to maintain during the season. You're going to get strong in that off season.
Right.
And summer was a big time. I know that we did for that. A big time. Okay. Let's have a brief discussion about Fairland Dragons Network, which is what we're on right now. You know, we're on YouTube. I'm going to let you kind of talk about how it came about, because really this was kind of your brainchild.
It kind of was. When our basketball season got canceled in the 2020 season, and we lost all of our spring sports. We started the 2021 season in football and our other sports. We were very limited on the number of fans that we could have in the seats. That is something that I lost countless hours of sleep over, because I wanted grandparents to be able to watch their grandkids play. I wanted aunts and uncles to be able to watch. And we were very limited on the number of tickets that we could give out per player. The same thing with visiting players coming in. The visiting football tickets, we were only allowed to give out about 75 tickets. That was it. You know, and on a normal night, I think we were only allowed to sell about 250 tickets total. On a normal night, we'll have 900 to 1,500 people in the stands. So sitting down and figuring out how are we going to be able to broadcast these games. I called Doug Morris with Armstrong Network and said, hey, how can we do this and be live? We got with our IT department, and then at that time it was IT Fairland was the name of our YouTube channel. And we were able to put games out there. And at that time we were only able to do football at that time because we didn't have the production that we had right now. Actually, our first 2 football games, I believe it was, John Buchanan, Adam Alt were my 2 play-by-play guys. They were going to the state basketball clinic so they could hone their skills and get better, become better coaches than they are. And I needed somebody. I can't remember what was the first. You remember the first game you guys called? South Point, maybe.
You know, that's been so long.
Right.
I don't remember. I just remember when you asked me, and I said, well, if Coach Harris will do it,
right,
I'll do it.
And it just blew up from that point in time. It was crazy how much we've grown in 3 years. You know, we've talked about that we started doing this with a camera and a laptop, and now, and it was basically one bag. You know, Doug even come in one bag. Now we've got Doug comes in, brings a whole 2 or 3 carts with him. We've got so much stuff, but I feel like we put on a top-notch production, not only for our community members, for people throughout the country. I know you get a lot of text messages on Friday night when you're online. or during the games. I get a lot of messages watching from California, watching from Florida, or whatever. So we've been able to put together a top-notch program for our fans, our community, and just alumni throughout the country.
Well, and it's not just sports.
Right.
We need to, need to make sure everybody knows that.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
not just sports. I mean, a lot of it's sports, but it's for other things too. And I think originally, didn't it start for board meetings?
We started
also?
for board meetings. We kind of did it for football. They kind of morphed that more into some board meeting stuff, and that's why it was IT Fairland to begin with, because it was kind of doing all that. We did a couple plays and some things, and then it's just kind of blown up from there, where we're doing everything now. We're trying to get everything done. We're doing little interviews. I just finished up an interview with some volleyball kids. I know you're doing some individual interviews and stuff. At one time it was just kind of a couple little things. Now it's as much information out there as we can get.
Well, everything's out here in a digital age now,
Oh,
so
yeah.
we need to get it out there for people to see. All right. Now, Coach, I want to kind of go over this, and I want to let you chime in. I said, I've been asked many times over the last 4 years by several people why I broadcast those games with Coach Harris. They say, why are you doing this show? Why are you doing all these videos? Well, they don't understand because I don't monetarily benefit from it.
Right.
Okay, so I don't. This is time, but my reply to them has been very simple. I've been associated with the Fairland School District for 34 years. I've had a lot of positions here in this school district. The people and community, my past and present coworkers, have been so good to me and my family over the years. So this is one of the ways that I can repay them for all they've done for me and donate a little bit of my time and effort. I want to try to help in any way I can to better the school district. My time here is inching closer to retirement. I mean, I've been here a long time, and I want to see these students succeed. Those are my motivations for why I do this. I hope in some way I'm paying it forward, like Coach Woody Hayes used to say. He always pay it forward. And so that being said, you do so much around here people don't realize. I mean, just from social media, just everything. So I want to know, what are your motivations for all the things that you do here?
One of the biggest thing is you talk about Woody Hayes and paying it forward. And one of the things that I've always talked about too is you surround yourself with good people. I've been able to do that in my time here at Fairland. A lot of the close-knit guys that I keep close to me, and even women that stay close with Miss Hayes and Miss Leap and Miss Marshall, and then we talk about you and Coach Harris. Killer is always with me. He's more of my cheerleader, my pat me on the back, my motivational guy. And there's a few others that I've surrounded myself with. And we always talk about, we want to put the best product out there that we can put out there. And that's what motivates me. If we don't put that out there, then we have failed our school, we have failed our community. I know that we make a lot of decisions maybe that aren't the most favorable by some people, but it's the right decision. One of the things when I took this job and I sat down with, I didn't sit down with, we sat down and had a conversation with Miss Hayes and some other people in the community, but I sat down with some other well-known athletic directors at the time. I sat down and talked to Mark LaFawn quite a bit, the Walmsley guy that was at Gallia. We had a lot of conversations, and they said, you have to make a decision based on the masses and not on one. And sometimes that's been very critical of what we've done, but in the long run, it's worked out well for the masses because we've been successful across the board. If we made the decision based on one person or one athlete, then it wouldn't have worked out as well as we have. And I feel like over the last 10 years, I'm finishing up year 10, we have a lot of accomplishments for our coaches and our players. I haven't accomplished any of those. My players and coaches here have accomplished all those. I've been able to celebrate those, and I have a lot of championship trophies and plaques and footballs and basketballs and stuff in my office, but if it wasn't for our players and our coaches, I wouldn't have none of those.
You're right. I've got some in my office. I mean, they're from a few years ago because I haven't coached in so long. But, here's the thing, Coach. I'm from the school down the road, but I bleed green.
Right.
And I love this school. I love where I'm at. Fellas, we've got a little surprise for Coach Gorby here. So this is with the help of your wife and your sister and myself. Guys, can you roll the clip for us?
Low rider is a real goer. Hey. Low rider knows every street, yeah. Low rider is the one to meet, yeah. Low rider don't use no gas now. Low rider don't drive too fast. Take a little trip, take a little trip, take a little trip and see. Take a little trip, take a little trip, take a little trip with me.
You're welcome. That bring
Thank you.
back some good memories?
A lot of good memories. Being able to see my mom there was some great memories.
Good.
Appreciate it.
Well, everybody, I'd like to thank Coach Jeff Gorby for being our guest here on the Inside Scoop today. If you have any questions about sports here at Fairland High School, you can reach him here at the high school at 886-3250 or email him at jeff.gorby@fairland.k12.oh.us. All right? And, Coach, we got to give a big shout-out to Braxton Trader, Brody Buchanan, Alex Cyrus, and to Jerry Bell, our award-winning video teacher, for making this show possible. Thanks to all you folks that tune in and watch us each week. Our guest next week is scheduled to be our faculty sponsor of the Beta Club, Mrs. Stephanie Beelan, and current Beta Club president, Mrs. Katie Bell. Thanks again for sharing your part of the day with us and Coach Gorby. Enjoy the rest of your day. See you next time. Let's go Dragons.